Hello, this is Kevin Benedict, Senior Analyst with the Center for the Future Work at Cognizant, and I'm reporting all week long from Boston, Massachusetts. Today I have the honor of being able to interview Brett Walker, and Brett Walker is the VP of Global Alliances and Solutions Consulting with Reflexis. Now, talk to me, Brett, about what you're seeing out there in the area of digital transformation in retail. What are companies doing that's kind of leading edge, and where do you see things going?
Yeah, so what we find is a lot of retailers are really starting to focus on mobility. I think it's one of the last pieces. They're trying to figure out what is the right way to go about executing some of their strategies. And some of the challenges that they're regularly faced with are better educated customers that are walking in the store, oftentimes with better technology than the store associates have. They're highly educated on products before they walk in, and they want service immedially. So they've got a very short attention span. And if they don't get that, they're also highly social, and of course mobile. So if they have a bad experience, they tweet about it, and it goes to their social networks immediately. So retailers are trying to figure out how they can better serve customers in real time in a highly contextualized way.
Okay, so I see people, and I do it myself. I do pricing comparison, research. I look at reviews, all that in the store aisles.
Exactly.
So in the retail space, are they looking at that as being a real problem?
They absolutely are, and I think one of the other challenges that they're faced with is this whole this idea of buy online, pick up in store. And the challenge is, while it can be great for business, it's very hard to predict the volume. And you've got to align the in-store labor with when people are coming in. And when they come in, they want the product and they want it to be available immediately. So if the back-end systems aren't connected with the front-end systems and the labor needed to get that accomplished, you've got a disconnect and you're going to have a customer that has a really bad experience.
Wow. So Brett, I have statistics on that. So 18 to 34-year-old, they are willing to support a buy online, pick up in store at a rate 100% higher than other age groups. We just did a survey with RIS, Cognizant RIS just did a survey of 5,000 people, and that's the data that just came out of that.
We see it regularly from the retailers that we work with.
Wow. So now talk to me about real time.
Absolutely. So one of the struggles that retailers are typically faced with is how do they service the customer with all of the other demands that they have in the store. Someone calls in sick, a truck is late, there's a product recall, there could be a loss prevention issue. These are the things that store managers are regularly challenged with. When a customer walks in, we don't want to lose that selling opportunity. Right. So one of the things that Reflexis in particular is doing is we've introduced a product in the last couple of years called Store Pulse. And what Store Pulse does is it aims to help retailers address that issue.
Okay.
And this is a technology integration strategy that allows the internal systems to talk with any system or device in a store. It could be a traffic counter. It could be a device that's a sensor, a beacon. It could interface with the logistics system. It could interface with the back-end HR system. And what it does is it provides the insight from that system and sends it as an actionable task to the right person at the right time in the right place so that action can be taken or delayed until later.
Talk to me about the mobile interface of that.
Yep. So our strategy as a software producer has been give the customers what they're going to want. So we're kind of interface agnostic. We've got an iOS application that's native. We've got a native Windows 10 application that we're co-developing with Microsoft right now that will be available before the end of the year. And we've got a native Android application as well.
Okay, let me give you a scenario. You're expecting 40 people to come into the store in a given period of time, 80 come in.
That's right.
So what kind of sensors would detect the traffic, and how might that scenario play out?
So we would interface with the traffic counter, so perimeter analytics towards the front of the store. If it exceeds a certain threshold, that would look at the scheduling system, and it would say, Potentially the notification could be, you've got more customers in the store than you had planned. Let's reallocate labor, open an additional register, open or check customer service. If you're a clothing retailer, check your fitting rooms. So based on what the best practice is for that retailer, we predefine what that workflow would look like and then help them execute that consistently.
Okay, so that might be in the form of an alert on a mobile phone?
That's correct.
So they feel it vibrate, they reach down there, and it gives them this information, and defines the task. Does it help them understand what they should do based on that data?
You're exactly right. So what we'll do is predefine what the workflow is, and this is the retailer telling us what the best practice is. Once that's defined, the store manager, store associate simply looks at the device with an interface that they're very used to, very intuitive, and through a button-driven workflow have the ability to advance through that very quickly, save it for later. They could pin something, they could elect to follow it if it's something that's very important so that they continue to keep updates top of mind for them so that they don't let things fall through the cracks. And what this does is helps with the closed loop feedback, and this will roll up to the district, to the region, and to corporate. So for the first time, corporate has great insight into exactly what's happening at all of those different levels.
Got it. So I just wrote a report which comes out this week called Cutting Through Chaos in the Age of Mobile Me. And what that really is talking about is personalization and contextually relevant information that's personalized.
That's right.
And going through all the data and statistics and then recommendations. So let's talk about personalization. How might a retailer recognize a high-value customer that belongs to a loyalty program and a rewards program that's been loyal forever, and how might they recognize one has entered the store and they should give special treatment?
That's right. So we would typically interface or interact with what that solution is. So if they have a clienteling application and we've got the ability to accept that information, it could be through Bluetooth, it could be through other solutions. We would take that insight and it could potentially tell Bill that's working in the men's clothing department that Brett just walked in. He's a high-value patron and he's dwelling in a certain portion of the store. Or Sally's in women's shoes and we know that she's a high-value patron. So what we try to do is make sure that that message doesn't go to everyone in the store.
Right.
It would go specifically to the person responsible for covering that area of the store.
So what are some of the technologies available for recognizing high-value customers?
So it would typically be something that would reside on their smartphone. It could be something that would be Bluetooth enabled. Could be a third-party application.
Would it be like a check-in? Would it be a location-based thing?
Yeah.
What might it be?
I guess that would be something that the individual retailer would use, because for us that would be a third-party act. But it would typically, what we've seen in the conversations we've been having with retailers, it would be an opt-in type of process.
Okay. So they might go in and they might get rewarded for checking in at a particular location with their membership card or scanning their app.
Correct.
And it says they're on premise,
Correct.
that kind of thing.
And if they've connected that to the Store Pulse solution, we could then take that insight and trigger a contextual, highly relevant task to the right person in the right department.
That's awesome. I want to thank Brett with Reflexis, Reflexis. So is that reflexisinc.com?
That's correct.
Brett, thanks for joining us today.
Thanks so much, Kevin.